I'd like to start by thanking Ann Robinson, whose comment on YouTube is encouraging me to make this video to explain and clarify my position on astrological house systems. I use the whole sign system mainly because I discovered long ago, decades ago, that it was the system that worked best. And to give a quick example of the logic that I arrived at through observation, I would notice planets that apparently looked like they were below the horizon, but they were in the sign of the 7th house, which, for example, if we look at Trump's case, it would be Aquarius. So you'd have a planet transiting through here somewhere, maybe at 10 degrees or even 5 degrees, or for that matter, at 0. And what I would notice was that the theme, the topic, the event, the psychology, all of it pointed to the 7th house, not to the 6th, which is where you would expect to find it if you use the typical quadrant system, which says, here we have the ascendant, this is the 1st house, the 2nd house, 6th house, 7th house. Because I did not find that to hold, and not just in the 6th to 7th, but also in the 12th to 1st, and so on, I began to use the whole sign system, which is depicted like this. Now, at the same time, I prefer to draw it as though it's equal house. And so then the temptation is to say, well, since we have 2958 Leo, now the 1st house is all of this box, and the next house is the next box, and so on. And that is not how I use it, and I consider that a big mistake. The reason I draw it in this way, and to make it look a little better, if it's set up like this, then it's more clear. You've got Leo, but now it shows us 1, Virgo shows us 2, Libra shows us 3, and so on. But the reason I like drawing it as though it's equal house is because I like seeing the horizon as the east-west line cutting horizontally across the chart, as in this case like this. So it is clear to me that that is where the ascendant, descendant are, what's above the horizon and what's below the horizon. And also importantly, I like the degrees showing, because it turns out that not only is the sign itself significant, where you say Leo is 1, but also every 2958 throughout the zodiac all the way around the circle become the most important degrees. In other people's cases, it might be 15, 16, 3, 22, whatever that number is, it's really critical. So I like to show it as equal also for that reason. Otherwise, you get a drawing like this, where the ascendant is shown as a point, Leo is shown as the 1st house, Virgo as the 2nd, and so on. That also doesn't work as well for me. So this is typically the way I like to draw it, or perhaps in some way to number it. And now, as far as the use of the whole sign system, I notice that experienced astrologers tend to turn to this sooner or later. It's the one feature of the Vedic system that I really like. Well, I shouldn't say that. There are a number of things about their system that I like, although the thing that I least like, and I notice this is changing, which I think is a good thing, is they use the constellational sign system, so that Aries isn't really Aries, it's actually Pisces, and Pisces is really Aquarius, and so on. That I find does not work very well, though I notice that quite a few Vedic astrologers now maintain their allegiance to the Vedic system, but they're starting to use tropical signs, which I think makes a lot of sense for all kinds of reasons. But as far as the house division, I do believe this is the best system, and I encourage everyone to try it, because if you do, you'll notice that you get the best results.